man should buy on credit. Prices go up by 3 or 4. They don't have no sympathy for the plight of the needy. Like them dealers in town belong to some cigarette ring. Lord, setting price to keep poor man down and always owing. With the overpricing, the merchants say hand no soul. It's high time they practice some price control. The price is too high. The price is too high, Mr. Merchant. Hey, the poor man cry. The price is just bring water to me eye. More people want water. More people want food. More people want shelter. And furniture made from iron and wood. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. It's just a little mercy at all. Employers have no pity. The woman working for city. But to pay for a loan, it takes for man all his life. Lord, just to own a home to provide shelter for himself, for his children and wife. Could somebody put a hand to save the poor man from this repression? The price is too high. The price is too high, Mr. Banker. Hey, the poor man cry. The price is a bring water to me eye. For people want water. For people want food. For people want shelter. And clothes to go back to make them look good. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. It's just a little bullshit we begging please. You want a little something to eat this please. Like you want to see the poor man beg on his knees. Show some compassion to the poor man. Show some compassion to the poor man. Cable and wire, none couldn't tell us. Use electricity and water. There's a shock me and the stress and the service charge they demanded for utilities. It's like they have no understanding about time from industry. They don't care about profit, and they don't care who are able. And if for some reason you just miss the deadline to pay, you just stop and they're disconnecting you right away. Don't be some other way. You still have to find some way to pay for your reconnection. Today the price is too high. The price is too high on utilities. Let the poor man cry. The price is just bring water to the eye. For people want water. For people want food. For people want shelter. Utilities for the neighborhood. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. It's just a little bullshit we begging please. We want a little something to eat this squeeze. Like you want to see the poor man beg on his knees. Show some compassion to the poor man. Lord, show some compassion to the poor man. To buy furniture and appliances, he must sacrifice food or water or some basic necessities. Cause it's 200% profit cash they asking for. And if poor man should buy on credit, prices go up by 3 or 4. They don't have no sympathy for the plight of the needy. Like them dealers in town belong to some cigarette ring. Lord, setting price to keep poor man down and always owing. With the overpricing, the merchants say hand no soul. It's high time they practice some price control. The price is too high. The price is too high, Mr. Merchant. Hey, the poor man cry. The price is just bring water to me eye. More people want water. More people want food. More people want shelter. And furniture made from iron and wood. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. Bring the prices down. Bring them down. It's just a little mercy we begging please. You want a little something to eat this squeeze. Like you want to see the poor man beg on his knees. Show some compassion to the poor man. Lord, show some compassion to the poor. Mr. Wassa. show some compassion to the poor.
This is an SOS from the St. Lucia. Help, help. SOS, SOS, Mayday, Mayday. The St. Lucia, a luxury liner, sailing the Caribbean Sea, with a good old captain named Sir John Compton. For years, sailed smooth and free. But sadly, Sir John Compton passed away. His team lost election that day, and the mantle passed over to Kenny and Team Labour. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I say that ball. If you hear it, Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, Captain, seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know. We don't know. The St. Lucia, oh, she was a beauty, with feet years that few surpassed. And in her day, she sailed majestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully, she fulfilled her sailors' needs, but labor was overpowered by greed, and so they pilfered slow, causing scandal and roro. Now things look dull, she's at a lull. She could barely sit on a hull, half we balling. Captain, Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we sit on it and perish slow? We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. I say no. I say no. Captain, you tell me what to do. The St. Lucia, in her day of sailing, she was a friend, a true friend to one and all. And in her day, she sailed majestically. No government doing bubble. And yes, well, she always did her best to help out those in distress. Now she don't have money, we have to beg Geographic. Labor boys don't share, none of them care. We must vote them out, I declare. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we sit on it and perish slow? We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know. We don't know. You tell me what to do. But sadly, Sir John Compton passed away. His team lost election that day, and the mantle passed over to Kenny and Team Labour. domestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully, she fulfilled her sailor's needs. But labor was overpowered by greed, and so the pilfered slow, causing scandal and roro.
Special good night to all our viewers on Caribbean American News Network. We are so happy to have you here with us tonight. Special greetings to all. How was your day, folks? Let's hope that you had yourselves a beautiful and productive day. Please share the live as you join. Let us do some housekeeping. At this time, we're going to share the live. That's what we're going to do. Those of you who are on YouTube, welcome to the platform. And those of you who are locked in via our Facebook stream, welcome to Cyber Broadcasting. We get better and better and better. We always strive to improve on the service that we offer here to you at Caribbean American News Network. Let us get to work. It is time to get to work. As we say, watch this space. We have a lot in the news. We are going from St. Lucia up to Europe and back tonight. We are traveling around the Eastern Caribbean, and we are going to go back into touch. We're going to touch down in St. Vincent tonight. We are going to travel, so I ask you to get your passports together. It is going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We are going to get to work tonight, so please share the live. Please share the live. Get your passports ready. Get your passport ready. Caribbean American News Airlines getting ready to take off. We are heading to Europe. Let's see how far or where we can find St. Lucia or Martinique. Just stay with us, folks, as we engage you in sensible discussion. No mépris, no trouble here on this platform. We are going to Europe tonight, all right? And I must say off the bat, I know a lot of persons going to get very upset with me tonight. You guys family, WhatsApp, women family right now. So all those that could have hated me, they have already hated me. Those who could have said a lot of evil about me, they have already done it. Some of them, they talk so much about me that they got so sick that they're in recovery right now. But we say no weapon formed against us shall prosper as long as we stand on the pinnacle of truth, on the platform of truth, that elevated platform. Yes, my friends, we have nothing to fear, lest we forget how Almighty God have led us in the past. And that's why I say to everybody,
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
So folks, since when that's your role, please pass on the message, share. It's going to get sweeter and sweeter as the night go by. We have a lot of fun, and you know how the show go. Anything can happen between half an hour into the show. Maybe our friend Adriana from St. Vincent will pop in. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if the the Prime Minister of St. Vincent is going to pop in. We don't know what's going to happen on this platform. We don't know. We're not sure whether the opposition leader, Mr. Friday in St. Vincent, is going to pop on the show tonight. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's the truth. But the show can go anywhere. So welcome to the platform. We are extending our borders throughout the Eastern Caribbean. Yes, my friends, we are heading into Barbados, and we have a number. Let me see here. We have St. Lucia, Barbados, Grenada, Martinique, Europe, St. Vincent, Dominica. We are going places tonight. It is hot. And then we will start with our death announcement for tonight. We are now doing death announcements here on our platform. We have our first death announcement that we will get into as the live builds up. We're just waiting for the numbers to go, and then we will get into our program tonight. So friends, we are trusting that you will share as much as you can. Let me just say greetings to Gloriana over on our YouTube channel, and Donovan Donovan, my friend. Good night to you. And all the others, you're not typing, but I know that you are there and you are locked into our faithful Facebook viewers. I see Maggie logged in. Veronica, she's there. Veronica's there. And my friend Hippolyte, good night to you. Charles, good night. Ian, my brother, good night to you. He's on the air. Bibiana, Miss Wilson, welcome to the platform. And Charles, welcome. Sweden, Charles, welcome. And also I see my friend Gregory Charles on the platform. And many others are there with us. But we're waiting for you to type so that we can give you a shout out tonight. Once you type yourself in, then we know that you're there. All right. We have Malcolm. Look, my friend Malcolm from Miku. Are you from Miku, my brother, Monripo? Welcome, Malcolm, one of our long viewing listener. Malcolm. Good to see you. One day we will meet, Malcolm, God's willing. And we have my friend Arnold Kana, who is on from St. Croix in the house. St. Croix is in the house. And by the way, Arnold is one of our graphic guy there in the party, and he does a lot of graphic. Some of them make me laugh and some make me cry. So welcome, my friend, from all the way from St. Croix. Norens, good to see you also. Good night. Please share the live, folks. We got to share it because we want to get to work. There's a lot for us to get into. It is 8:09 p.m. here in New York, and we know that in other parts of the world, like in St. Lucia, the Eastern Caribbean, it is approximately 8:10 in the PM. Many of you have just gotten off from the news. Queen, my friend Queen, how are you? Yes. I'm excited because we are heading into some different markets, and a lot of offers are coming in for me. And I warn you, St. Lucians, get your house in order because right now I'm getting more busier than usual. Let me go back to our platform. Yes, Miku South. Malcolm is from Miku South. And we have Bastian. Welcome, my friend. Laureen Hippolyte, my sister. Oh, she's on. No, she's not an African. She's a St. Lucian that she's on. She's in the house. And there's a lot of good things going to be happening very shortly there. With Lorraine and her husband, and also my friend Francis, Brother Martin Francis. Yes. Florence, welcome to the platform. Those of you who are viewing and you have not clicked in, don't be afraid to come in. We don't bother you. We're happy to have you on the platform. The platform strives for better, and so we do not condemn anyone. We don't judge you based on your feelings, how you felt in the past. Come on in. We're all one. All right. Don't feel bad. Come in and take part in the program tonight. Type and show your excitement. All right. And we have Maria from St. Lucia. Yes, Maria from St. Lucia. Welcome. I hope you all have your passports because, as I said to you, we're going to Europe. We are going around the world, and then we come back to the Eastern Caribbean. I have some breaking news for you. Some breaking news a little later on. Yes, we have major breaking news, and we will break that news a little later on in the program. Just bear with us, folks. All right, just bear with us, and we will give you the news as it is delivered to us. All right, good. All right, so great night to everyone. I was looking for Martin, and here he is. I was concerned that Martin is not home as yet, or he's not locked in with his passport ready to travel to Europe with us, friend Martin. My brother from another mother. Yes, that's Martin Francis. Good night to you, my brother. And he's bigging up his boss, Lady Lauren Hippolyte. That's his boss right there. He can get fired at any time. So he got to behave himself and get on to the set early. Martin, good to have you, my friend. Good to have you. My other friend, Bravo, Alpha Bravo, my brother. Man, I respect you. I love you. And I'm happy that you are here with us and you have been, of great support. Blessings to you, my brother. Blessings to you. All right, tonight you don't need any application. You don't need any visa. Tonight, Caribbean American News Airline is going to take you straight to Europe and back. All right, so just stand by, get ready, and we are taking off. All right, good night, my friend. Good night to you. I just want to let you know that we are in the process of putting together a fundraiser in St. Lucia, and Miss Hippolyte and her husband and our brother Martin, we'll give you full details of that fundraiser. The fundraiser, it's to do a lot of stuff. We're trying to get equipment into St. Lucia, but out of that, what we really want to do is to serve the community, serve the less fortunate. And so that fundraiser where Ms. Hippolyte and her husband and the family, we're going to put meals together. There will be fish, there will be chicken, pork. Not all the time you all have to be eating pork, all right? No pork. So chicken and fish meal is going to be prepared. You have to prepare for it. So if you would normally order lunch somewhere, you can just don't order from your favorite restaurant. Order from us at Caribbean American News. They're in St. Lucia. The food, they're very affordable and tasty. And there's a special rice that we're going to speak about. It is Miss Hippolyte's special. It is a specialty. But you cannot afford not to support a worthy cause. You know that I'm heading into St. Lucia. The monies are not for me. I don't need your monies. It is not for me. There's a lot of needs out there. Tonight we're going to discuss a number of them, but Miss Penny, Miss Hippolyte and her husband, we have put together a special fundraiser, and you will order those meals. We will tell you how to do it. Those of you who are in St. Lucia, you have to pre-order those meals so that we will not waste anything, all right? So it's going to be Caribbean American News fundraising there on the island, and you got to get excited, folks. These are exciting times, and if you're not excited, guess what? I will just accept all the other offers from the other Caribbean islands and leave you guys there alone, all by yourself. So jump on board and let's get to work. No, I'm not going to leave you folks. Come on, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave. The Lord brought me here for such a time as this, and when He's finished with me, then we're going to move on. But we're going to be working with both St. Vincent and St. Lucia to get the work done, all right? So let's get to work now, folks. Thank you. We will give you more details about the I will give you, we'll do the flyer, we'll put it on the air, and we will go through it. We'll have you even to call in on that night that we will do the program so that you can pre-order your lunch. Okay, if you're working at the bank, if you're working at courts, if you're working in the Castries Basin, out in the government buildings, you can pre-order your lunch. Pre-order your lunch. You don't have to buy lunch anywhere else but from Caribbean American News Network there in St. Lucia. And if it work out well, you guys will make me or force me to come to St. Lucia even more often, and we do more food deliveries and everything else there, food preparation, because our food is simply the best. I can tell you, it's a kick of everything, a kick of Europe. Boy, I tell you, it's a kick of Europe. It's a kick of Europe. For those of you that some of you don't even know that you're in Europe anyway, so we'll talk about that a little later on. Okay? All right, folks, let's get to work. Let's go to our death announcement. And we regret to announce the death of Veronica Williams, also known as Gloria of Bocage. She passed away today, the 21st of March, 2023, at the OKEU Hospital, Gloria will be missed by many. May she rest in perfect peace. And so, on behalf of Caribbean American News Network, we convey our deepest sympathy to the family of Miss Williams, Gloria, better known as Gloria, affectionately known as Gloria. So again, we regret to announce the death of Veronica Williams, also known as Gloria of Bocage. She passed away today, 21st of March, 2023, at the OKU Hospital. Gloria will be missed by many, by her family, and I know there are many precious memories that many of you would have had there with Gloria. We continue to pray for the family. For those of you with death announcements, please submit it to us. You can text it to our WhatsApp number 929-586-1821. If you have special announcements, please let us know so that we can generate these announcements to the general public. So let's go on from there, and we're going to get into the news. I am not even sure where to start. But let's deal with this matter there in St. Lucia. St. Lucians are calling for the lowering of gas prices after gas prices on the global market dropped to below $70 a barrel. We have not seen a decrease in regular gasoline on the island of St. Lucia for a very long time. And so the people of St. Lucia, they are calling on the government to act now. Because the people believe that the government of St. Lucia, they are deliberately keeping the price of gas high. And so the citizens of St. Lucia, they're coming together and they're asking for immediate action on gas prices. St. Lucia now holds the highest price of gas in the Eastern Caribbean. In some of the neighboring islands, gas are much cheaper than St. Lucia. St. Lucia seems to be leading the charge on high gas prices. And so again, the people of St. Lucia, they're demanding that the government act now before the citizens, stand up and demand it through protest action. So again, Caribbean American News also asks the government to act now before the people decide to stand up for themselves. All right. So that's it for the gas prices. Let us go to Prime Minister Mr. Philip J. Pear. Mr. Philip J. Pear today made statements that St. Lucia and Martinique, they are located in Europe. They're located in Europe. And let's go to a statement by the Honorable Mr. Philip J. Pear, and then we are going to come back to a new map that was created moving St. Lucia from the Eastern Caribbean into Europe. It means that you will have to change your passports and other identity. Please bear with us, folks. It's a funny moment, but we're going to get over to this clip. All right, so please bear with us. We're going to get the video unmuted, and we will go into the Prime Minister's address.
Factors which contribute to crime here on island.
St. Lucia is located strategically in Europe in terms of Martinique. Martinique is in Europe. It's a strategic location of St. Lucia. Once you come from Europe, when you get into Martinique, you're into Europe. And that's why St. Lucia is important. Then St. Lucia is close to, on the other side, to Venezuela. So it's St. Lucia's location. Why do you think they fought same times?
Okay, folks. Did you get that? Let's go back and we'll make some corrections. And we're going to speak to the Prime Minister tonight, one-on-one. Wow. So let's go back, folks. Let's go back over to that clip.
Multitude of factors which contribute to crime here on island.
St. Lucia is located strategically in Europe in terms of Martinique.
Man, let me just get a drink. I just skipped 2 breaths there and it bothered me. Okay, so let's fix this now. So folks, you heard it for yourself. and I am sure that the Prime Minister misspoke. I would say that. I would give him the benefit of the doubt. Most of us know that St. Lucia is not in Europe, and Martinique is not in Europe. Europe is very far away from St. Lucia. Now let's go to a map of Europe so that we can get an idea. Now on the map, I want you to look at it carefully, and I want you to type. I want you to type in the Facebook chat or in the WhatsApp chat, the YouTube chat, what did you see differently on this map that I'm going to show you? Please share the live. Share the live. Invite everybody to come on. All right? This is the only show that makes sense right now tonight. Caribbean American News, the Flabo Show. All right? So invite Toot Flabo, all of them. I don't know where they are. They should be here right now. They're missing in on their Europe trip. But let's go over to a new map that was created. Call them, send a text. Where are you all? Come on board, man. Yes, send a text to them. Let's get to work. All right. So let's go over, folks, to the actual map of Europe. And I will show you why Martinique and St. Lucia, they're not, well, please, I want you to observe the map and tell me what you see. Now, you realize I'm quiet? Good. What do you see? Now, you see Europe. You would see France, Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Germany, United Kingdom, Norway, Sudan. Did you see all those countries? Those countries are the countries that make up Europe. So I now, based on what the Prime Minister said to us, the announcement that he made, I now had to go and move St. Lucia over to Russia. If you look at the map, you will see St. Lucia. Are you seeing it? Come on, folks, get your glasses. So you see what I had to do? I had to put St. Lucia way up into Russia, because we got to do it right. If we are saying that St. Lucia is close to Europe, because Martinique is close to Europe, then we will have to do what is right. Relocate St. Lucia. And if we're going to relocate St. Lucia, then you will have to change your passport, of course. Well, maybe not. All right? You cannot be in the CARICOM. You cannot be in the Eastern Caribbean states. You cannot even be in the Central Bank of the Caribbean, the ECCB, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, because you have moved yourself out of the Eastern Caribbean and you have moved yourself into Europe. So a lot of things are going to change. So you cannot use the same monies that St. Vincent or Grenada they're using and Dominica, because you are not in the Eastern Caribbean. You are basically located in, now let me go over to my friend Sylvia. Sylvia said, whoa, we're in Russia now. there is St. Lucia in Russia. You guys are smart. Yeah, we sticking that. Let me read your statement. Lucy Cooey says, Monsieur, we sticking that. Where is Mandy Lewis for correction from the PM hour? Sorry. Now, folks, please, I don't mock people. I don't, but this is a fun moment, all right? It is considered to be a fun moment. Now, laborers, don't get too bent out of shape, please. And I'll tell you why you should not get bent out of shape, because every time Mr. Shasta would make a mistake, you guys would come and you would say a lot of stuff. He didn't go to school, he can't pronounce, he's a dunce, he's not bright. I heard you all, guys. Of course I heard you. I'm not deaf. And so you would joke every mistake, every error he makes. Even when he was at the school and he was writing, you guys made a mockery of that. You laugh. And now, guess what? You guys are finding every excuse every excuse to say what the Prime Minister never said. And you know what I hear people say now? The Prime Minister was right. Basically, technically, he was right. What technically he was right? As a Prime Minister, you must say what you mean and mean what you say. You must be clear when you communicate with your people. Yes, as a leader, you must be clear. And that's why in major countries, the prime ministers are given teleprompter to keep them from making those mistakes. Because any little mistake that these prime ministers make, it can cause the life of people in some countries. So prime ministers got to be very calculated and careful, and they must be clear with their message. So to make such a big boo-boo, and for everybody now to be making excuse, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Because when Mr. Shastay would make, and you know when you speak it, you would make little errors in pronouncing. Like me, I make a lot of errors when pronouncing. Why? Because sometimes in a rush to speak, you slip up. But for God's sake, you did an entire session of mistakes. You started wrong and you ended wrong. And your supporters now, and these guys, I am telling you, you guys are slick, and I got your number. I got you. And that's why I'm here. To get you, got you. So now, because the Prime Minister is saying that we are in Europe, we got to get out of the ECCB because we are in Europe. And we got to get our national security right because we're close to Russia. We don't even have proper security and you putting us in Europe. We don't even have good health care. You're taking us right to Europe. Our security forces, we got to send to, and now we have to send all the regional security people back because we're in Europe. How did we get to Europe? You think Europe is buying corn curls or cheese twist? Europe is not going to Vieux Fort. Europe is not even going to Martinique. Folks, I am... Sorry. Listen, the amount of excuse that I'm hearing about St. Lucia moving into Europe, I mean, I honestly, I hear people saying, well, he meant this. When it's Shastay, nobody can have explanation for him. No benefit of the doubt. Oh, well, he made an error. You guys said he didn't go to school. You wanted to investigate to get his certificate, his graduation documents, because you said, oh, he can't be educated because he can't speak, he can't pronounce anything. And I have not heard, well, I'm saying to you the truth, I've not heard Mr. Shastay make such a serious boo-boo. Eh? Let's go back again and tell me if I'm going crazy.
That there are a multitude of factors which contribute to crime here on island.
St. Lucia is located strategically in Europe in terms of Martinique. Martinique is in Europe. It's a strategic location of St. Lucia. Once you come from Europe, when you get into Martinique,
okay, so once you get into Martinique, Martinique is Europe. I suspect I know what he wanted to say, but as Prime Minister, what you just said there, brother, we got to finish our water in that.
And that's why St. Lucia is important. Then St. Lucia then is close to the other side to Venezuela. So it's St. Lucia's location. Why do you think they fought same times?
So Y'all think cheese curls just mess around? Listen to me. When you get to a certain age and you have high blood pressure and diabetes and those stuff, stay away from those sweet things, brethren. It gets to your head. Stay away from them things. It gets to your head. It's worse than weed. It gets to your head. So let's just go slowly. I'm trying to figure out, and we can do it together, what the Prime Minister was trying to say. First of all, he said St. Lucia, it is close to Venezuela. Venezuela is in Europe too. I'm trying to figure this out. And Martinique is in Europe. So, because Martinique is in Europe, we are in Europe technically, and that's why the British and the French fought for St. Lucia, because St. Lucia had the best position to Europe. Oh my God. Folks, I need to hear from the Prime Minister because I don't want to miss.
Multitude of factors which contribute to crime here on island.
St. Lucia is located strategically in Europe in terms of Martinique. Martinique is in Europe. It's a strategic location of St. Lucia. Once you come from Europe, when you get into Martinique, you're into Europe. And that's why St. Lucia is important. Then St. Lucia is close to the other side to Venezuela. So it's St. Lucia's location. Why do you think they fought same times?
Sorry, I like him. Honestly, I like him because you can see that he know that he lost his way. So So the Prime Minister knows that the Prime Minister knows that he made a mistake. I like him, honestly, I like him. He's funny. The Prime Minister knows that he made a mistake, so he watched on the side and he's giving this little giggle. I love this man, he's funny, honestly. No, honestly, the Prime Minister, he's funny. He's funny. I like the man, honestly. I tell you, he's very funny. Let's go back. This is the last time we're doing this, folks. Please, the last time.
He articulated that there are a multitude of factors.
No, let's go back because there's something I want you to see. His little smile when he realized that he just did something stupid.
He articulated that there are
I don't know what's happening there. But they sabotage it according to the people. I disconnect the internet. Wait, just bear with me. I'm trying to get it.
To Venezuela. So it's St. Lucia's location. Why do you think they fought?
Look at his face.
Same times.
I love him. Sorry, folks. Sorry. No, when I tell you honestly, I love Philip Juppé. Not because he has good policies or anything, but I love him because he's funny. And the man realized, he realized that he made the boo-boo. So he couldn't get out of it because he went too deep. Now, if he had corrected himself when he made a statement that we are in Europe, he could have corrected it from the beginning. But the man continued. He continued until he realized that, he looked around and he gave a grin. He's like, you know what, folks, it is what it is. It was a mistake. It was an error. And it's a funny moment. I laughed when I saw it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that is a doctored tape. That's what I said. But, let's go back to the new map again. Let's go back to the new map. So we put St. Lucia close to Russia. Russia cafe a shy bomb, so you all have to be careful up there. Russia, a lot of bombs flying all over there. So we put St. Lucia right in Russia, close to Ukraine, close to Finland, and, you know, they will figure their way there. They might be able to get over to France. When you get to France, you are more closer to Europe when you get to France. And maybe you can sneak over to the United Kingdom. You might get some immunity and protection there, Mr. Prime Minister. But Russia is not the right place to be close to. We are in the Eastern Caribbean, and if you're saying we are not, then you need to get out of the ECCB. You need to get the regional security out of St. Lucia. You have to bring them back in on a European diplomatic terms. Don't bring them in as you being part of the OECS. Yeah, so we are in the OECS. We're in the Caribbean. We're in the Eastern Caribbean, sir. And Martinique is not Europe. Martinique is owned and managed, governed by France. It does not mean that they are in Europe or we are close to Europe. We are close to Martinique. Martinique is right here in the Caribbean. You can jump on a boat and you can go over to Martinique. If you try to get to Europe from Martinique, you have a very long way to go. And even though you get to Venezuela, you have a very long way to go to get to Europe. Remember that. Let us not forget that, friends. All right? I just wanted to say so. So for those of you who's celebrating that you're in Europe now and you can do this, you can get benefits, you can get free bomb, you can do all kind of stuff, you can get free aid and all kind of thing. No. You are still in the Eastern Caribbean. You're still in St. Lucia. And for those of you who are living in Martinique, you are still in Martinique. You are still in the Caribbean. You are not in Europe. I don't know if you wanted to say you're part of the European nation or whatever it is. I don't know if that is even the case. But, folks, I don't know. I got to get back to some school or somewhere to figure this out. But the only thing I could have done was place St. Lucia by myself. Based on what the Prime Minister said, I was able to put St. Lucia right into Russia. Okay, let's get off of the Russia issue now, folks. That was very, very, very funny. All right. Now, today was observed as World Down Syndrome Day, and in order to celebrate that, the folks, different prime ministers, different persons, wore two different fitted socks, different colors. We saw Ralph Gonsalves in Parliament using two socks. He had to borrow one from his wife and one for himself because he said he only have three color socks. He only have black and brown and another one. So that was a funny moment there for Ralph Gonsalves in St. Vincent. In the meantime, I want us to let us do something. Let us go to the protesters there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Then we'll come back to St. Lucia. We have some stuff for St. Lucia. So let's go over to St. Vincent. And we have public sector unions who stood outside of Parliament yesterday and today. And this is a report from my friend from the St. Vincent Times. The St. Vincent Times, Mr. Cook. Okay, let me just get that clear for you. This is protesters today in Kingstown.
All right, so we're here today.
All right, we will be right back. We have to reload that page, and then we will upload it back to you. Those things happen because those were queued in earlier today in preparation.
All right, so we're here today in Kingstown. It is the second day of the teachers union protests, or all unions actually. And they are protesting. What they say is the government's intention to appeal the vaccine mandate ruling, which was unconstitutional according to the court. And so this is the second day that they're holding their protest in capital Kingstown. It's a much smaller crowd than yesterday.
We are still alive! We are still here! We will not move! We are stronger! Why? Somebody tell me where we went wrong!
Alright, so like I said, it's the second day and the unions have called out its members to protest.
Okay, that is over in Kingstown there, and you would realize that they're singing gospel. St. Vincent is a very religious country, and therefore majority of even government workers are Christians, both Adventists and non-Adventists, and Anglicans, Pentecostal evangelicals, and so they came together and they're protesting. On the other side is the government building where Ralph Gonsalves and his government, together the opposition, they were discussing bills in the House. They are protesting the idea that the government is they're trying to appeal, and they're actually, the government is actually, was advised by Mr. Estefan. You know that name, Anthony Estefan, who is Labour Party's, it seems, Labour Party's guy in the Caribbean. It's a shame, and I want you to hear it from Estefan's mouth at an interview there on Boom FM, which is basically I would say a station that is favored to the ruling government of St. Vincent, the Labour Party. And I want you to listen to Mr. Estefan, who represented the government in this case, and they lost. They lost. The people won. Public servants won the case against the government. And here is Mr. Estefan. I believe he's one of them who were trying to advise the Speaker of the House in St. Lucia. And we saw how wrong the Speaker was. After all the legal advice that he got, he was wrong. And here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you have this lawyer from Dominica, Mr. Estefan, advising the Ralph Gonsalves government to continue to stick it to his citizens. This is what it basically is. To stick it to these public servants who lost everything that they had, some of them, as a result of an unconstitutional vaccine mandate. The vaccines were basically forced on the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the teachers, the nurses, policemen, they stood up and they said, no, we are not going to take it. They lost their jobs. Some of them worked in government for 30 years and 35 years, losing every piece of their benefits, from health to retirement to everything they lost as a result of a careless and a heartless Labour Party government there in St. Vincent. And here we have a lawyer coming in after losing the case. You think they would leave public servants alone, leave these families alone? They have gone through a lot. They have lost their ability to earn a living. Some of them, they were really on the breadline. They had to find other things to do. Some had to be creative and come up with certain businesses that they can make a little dollar. They had to sell stuff to make a dollar. And you know, it's just sad. But this lawyer, and I'm Mr. Estefan, is saying, advising the government to take this matter back to court, appeal, go back and ask for the government, the case to be reviewed. After putting the people, human beings, through all this, a lawyer would not say it's enough. We have placed enough burden, enough pain on these workers. Let's leave it alone. They won the case, leave it alone. They are appealing the case. Listen to him. Listen to him, and he has no feelings towards it, towards the people of St. Vincent, and had none towards the people of St. Lucia. Let's listen to him.
Accepted our advice to appeal the matter.
What are the? Can you outline the reasons for this appeal? First of all, have you gotten a written?
No, not yet. Not yet. What I had was a summary of the reasons that the Solicitor General, Mrs. Harper and Mr. Graham Wallace were able to note during the delivery of the reasons, and based on that, we made a decision that to advise the government to appeal and to prosecute the appeal as quickly as possible, so we can get a decision on that from the Court of Appeal sometime mid-year.
Okay, what exactly in that judgment are you appealing?
Everything.
Be a bit more specific.
Well, we do not agree with the judge's findings on every single matter that she ruled against us on. The constitutionality of the special measures, the issue of the right to be heard, reasonably required, proportionality, deprivation of pensions, all of those that she ruled against us are, how should I put it, critically important constitutional question that needs to be determined by a higher court. As I said in one of my early statements, it could not possibly be that a case of that importance with regional implications, because I've been getting messages from the region. What are the implications of this judgment? Do you have a copy? We need to see it. This is going to affect the way we have to deal with another infectious disease, another COVID crisis that may come. And I keep telling them, we don't have the judgment yet. We just have a synopsis of the reasons given by the judge. And based on that, we were able to advise the government that it's imperative on the merits and in the public interest to appeal the matter.
So hold a minute. So he is using the Vincentian situation to give other governments, regional governments, the comfort that they can put in place oppressive laws that would cause pain to families in their country. And you got to watch this, because, and we thank God that St. Vincent is not part of the CCJ. The people of St. Vincent rejected it. They rejected it. And to me, the case in St. Vincent, it shows that there is a lot of independence there when it comes to the government and the legal system. Because one of the lawyers for the government workers, this guy ran on the Ralph Gonsalves administration in one of the elections and he lost. Now he's representing the government workers and he won the case against that Ralph Gonsalves government. But here, this lawyer, this Labour Party lawyer, he's not satisfied. He's not comfortable with the pain that the people experience. And now he's saying, let's add more pain to them. Let's take them to court so that they can lose all their rights. And we saw last night where Miss King and Brenton and Smith said that, look, the judge basically said to us, go back to work. When these guys went back to work, then the government is saying to them, not so fast. You can't come on the job because we appeal the case. So you got to wait until the appeal is heard, which means that these people got to stay out of the job. Some of them getting half salary, no salary. Stay out of the job until this case is heard. All because this Estefan lawyer guy decides to advise the government to don't accept the judge's ruling. Don't accept it. If this guy had any ounce of human decency in him, he would have said to the government, just settle, just deal, because the people went through enough. Let's not put them through anymore. And not only that, we have spent enough taxpayers' money on this case. Because every time Estefan goes to court, he got to be paid. And he got to be paid by the public servant, by the Vincentians, by taxpayers. And taxpayers are not only SLP, ULP, and NDP. Taxpayers are everybody, every human being on the island. So they got to pay him to inflict pain on them. But he's advising, no, don't accept that, because people are calling me and they're asking me, oh, that's not good, that's going to be bad for us in the region, because there are laws that we have to implement in the future that will penalize the citizens. That's exactly what you guys are saying. That there are more laws that you're eyeing that will be detrimental to the people of the Caribbean. But we thank God that St. Lucia just moved to Europe. Well, that's what I heard. But it's a shame, folks. You got to listen to the man. Instead of leaving it alone, he's more concerned about what his other clients are saying to him. I don't know if Mr. Attorney General of St. Lucia called him. I don't know if the government of St. Lucia called him to ask him what's going on in St. Vincent. We don't know that. And that's why I say to you, anytime you see government makes an attempt to tamper with the Constitution, you, the people, must be concerned. I heard some idiots saying, well, the bill is good. The crime bill is good. Nothing is wrong with it. You also should just vote on it without any question. And that's idiotic. Anytime laws are being implemented that will restrict your movement and restrict your constitutional rights, you've got to show concern, because I am saying to you that governments are not always in the interest of you, the people. No, they're not. And we saw it in St. Vincent. Because if Ralph Gonsalves himself had cared a lot about the people of St. Vincent, he would have been very careful in implementing that vaccine mandate. He would have. And thank God that the Alan Chastney administration did not put in effect any mandate in St. Lucia. And we must applaud him for that. We must give him his accolades. We must say to him, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Alan Chastney, for not, because if Chastney had put that vaccine mandate in place, I am telling you, he would not have been in opposition. He would not have been in power. He and Bradley would have been totally wiped out. And not only that, a case like this heard in St. Vincent would have thrown Mr. Chastney way under the bus and the government of St. Lucia. If they had fired one person during COVID because of any mandate, it would have been an embarrassment today. Ralph Gonsalves, he is embarrassed. Brethren, we got a reason good tonight. No drama. And it is real. And that's why I am saying that I wish I could have had Mr. Chastney and speak to him tonight in person. We need to thank him based on this ruling in St. Vincent, folks. It is big. This is a big ruling that will shake the foundation of the Caribbean. This ruling in St. Vincent, these civil servants stood up. Policemen, lawyers, nurses, and government workers, teachers, they stood up. And I don't understand St. Lucian. Some of you would have drink Kool-Aid. You would have taken your little $10 that they gave you and you would go home. People in the CDC, you would take your 2005 and go home and figure what you're going to do after. Not the Vincentian people. They said to Rav Gonsalves, no, not here. And we saw what happened to him, and not rejoicing, but we saw what happened to him when he started with that bill. The people of St. Vincent, somebody burst his head right there when he was heading into Parliament. And that law was passed midnight while they were sleeping in the darkness of the night. They passed that law. Because the Vincentian people stood up. And they said, not here, sir. And so, I want to get back to St. Lucia. Bravo to you, Mr. Alan Chastney. I am not one to make you a god. You're not my god. You're not any god. But the idea that Caribbean leaders were tempted to follow the United States and have this vaccine mandate, especially for government workers, bravo to you, sir. Some people are asking, what did Mr. Chastney do for the people of St. Lucia? What he did for the people of St. Lucia is that he resisted the pressure to have any vaccine mandate in St. Lucia. Look at St. Vincent. Rav Gonzalez needed money. He needed support from the outside world. And so he forced the vaccine mandates on the people. And you have people telling me that the government went into the house and tried to and actually tampered with the Constitution twice. And the people of St. Lucia cannot speak about it, cannot ask questions. Mr. Alan Chastney, Mr. Bradley cannot say, look, I want to read this thing first before I sign off on it. And that's the right move to do. Half of the people who are speaking about these crime bills and stuff, they have not read it. They don't know what's in it. They're repeating what they hear in the House. Half of them have not read the bill. And that's why you got to be careful who you listen to. And I will say again that I will not comment on that crime bill because I have not read it. And I'm not going to be like an echo chamber parrot just repeating what I hear on social media. I got to read it. My friend Anson was forcing me to make a statement. He's forcing Gregory and I last night to make a statement. Talk. We resisted. Because we cannot comment on something we know nothing about. How can we operate in a society like that, just repeating stuff like a parrot? How do we do that in our society? And that's why we have been misled. That's why people are just feeding us because they know that we're gullible. Whatever we give them, they will drink. And I experienced that for myself. Some people will side with error over truth because, you know, that's the information that I got. But is it the truth? Thank you, Mr. Chastney, that you spared St. Lucia the wrath. Because at this time, you know what would have happened after the Vincentians, the civil servants there, win this case? You know what would have happened? I will tell you what would have happened. St. Lucia would have followed suit. Civil servants would have said, well, if St. Vincent won that case, our constitutions are almost the same. We're going to challenge this in court too. And guess what? The judge would have had to look at the precedents in St. Vincent. The judge, the ruling would have had to, the legal system would have had to look at the court hearing in St. Vincent and reference it. And that's why you see Estefan realize that the Vincentian people knocked the air out of him. Any case in the future on mandates, he cannot win it. The Vincentians knocked the air out of this lawyer. So he's not fighting because he thinks the government have a case. He is not fighting because the government have a case. He is fighting because he will have no case in the future. It is for himself, not the Vincentian people. It is not in the interest of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is not in the interest of the Rav Gonsalves administration to appeal this case. You can take it to the Privy Council as far as you want. The Privy Council, they're closer to the Constitution too. So if the local court is saying, we have read the Constitution of St. Vincent. Look at this. I have the Constitution. If we have read the Constitution, and we come to the conclusion that the case cannot stand, we in good conscience, we cannot side with the government on this matter. First of all, the commissioner and the CMO, these guys just gave up their rights and the powers that was given to them by the Constitution to government ministers. They surrendered the privilege and the rights that the Constitution gives them. They hand it on a platter to the government. And the government was out of place in implementing an unconstitutional liability on the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Bravo to the judge, Judge Henry. Bravo to her. And that's why there is a rush around the Caribbean and Antigua and all those places to ask Mr. Estefan to fix this. Fix this fast. My question would be, who advised the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? My second question, who advised the Speaker of the House in St. Lucia on constitutional matters and constitutional rights? That the government, basically the government, the Speaker of the government failed in St. Lucia legally. And in St. Vincent, they failed big time. This is the second blow for the Labour Party administration in the Caribbean. And by the way, St. Vincent is the biggest, where government workers took their government to court and won bigly. Mr. Smith said he walked in to his job. He went to work based on court orders. And the government right now, they're in bridge of court orders. Bravo, Mr. For those of you who work very close to the Honorable Alan Chasney, you all need to thank him. Now, you realize I didn't tell you to thank some of those guys who were wrong him, because some of them were dead weights. Thank him for not even considering to put that burden on the people of St. Lucia. Thank you. Because it would have been a multi-million-dollar casualty for the government of St. Lucia. And you think Estefan would give them monies or tell them, no, I won't charge you? They got to pay him every cent. Plus, they got to pay every civil servant millions of dollars that was taken away from them. So when it comes to your constitution, don't let anybody tell you be quiet and just sign off. Anson, my friend, is saying Mr. Chasney and Bradley should just sign off on the bill in the House. Just sign off with a blank sheet. Just sign off on it because Philip J. Pierce says so. Sign off. Do you know the amount of pressure the Labour Party put on the Chasney administration when they had to put these strict laws in place to protect the people of St. Lucia? Do you remember all they talk about people's civil rights and you've taken away people's freedom? Don't touch our constitution and freedom of this and freedom of that. Do you remember the Labour Party, the same Labour Party? The same Labour Party were in strong protests against the Chasney administration when he was trying to protect you, the people of St. Lucia. And it's not that he was going to just send you guys home and don't pay you. Public servants never miss $1 of salary. And not only that, those persons who are working in the private sector, some who were not even contributing to the NIS, received money. Salary support, income support. They got food. Mr. Chasney made sure that he protected the citizens of St. Lucia. Ralph Gonsalves did not do that. He fired them. And who is by his side? Lawyer Estefan is by his side. And you're telling me, folks, and some of you have short memory, because some of you were impacted and received monies that you should have never received and support during that crisis. Even some of you Labour Party people, you received income support. You received money. You received food. You received supplies, even from private donors. You want to tell me who is a caring government? So let's look at Mr. Ralph Gonsalves and look at Chasney during that period. That dark period in world's history. All public sector workers got paid. In St. Vincent, under the Labour Party, most of them got fired, lost their benefits, thrown out of the job, locked out of the jobs, after 30 and 40 years in government service. And you are complaining in St. Lucia. You guys, some of you have some things to pay for unless you repent from this hypocrisy that is drowned in you guys as a nation. Compare them, and that's why I'm bringing the Vincentian story, so that you, St. Lucian, can understand where you are and where you need to be as a people. You saw it. Every time Mr. Shastner went to the house to protect you, the citizens, you cursed him off. You called him white. You called him a dog. You told him, leave our country. I don't know if it's Europe you're sending him. Well, now, Mr. Shastner, I can say to you, I was told you were born in Europe. Now St. Lucia is Europe, so you're home. Deport all of them because they don't have European passport yet. So, the man said, the Labour Party at the time said in their attack on you while you were protecting the people that you're not one of us, you don't understand us, you wasn't born here in our country, you should go back to your country. Martinique is in Europe. So I would submit to you, sir, now that St. Lucia is Europe, deport all of them because you're more at home than them now. They got to change their passport. You don't have to change your passport. You were born in Martinique. Bunch of hypocrites. Let's go back over to Estefan to finish his Jumbie story.
We don't have the specifics thereby of the judgment, correct?
Well, we have the specifics of the reason she gave on Monday, but we don't have the written judgment yet. But you don't need the written judgment if a judge spends an hour giving the reasons why she's ruled against us. And the media in St. Vincent has referred to it as a slam dunk victory. And we have the reasons given to our notes were taken of the reason. The legal team discussed it. We had 2 Zoom meetings after the delivery of the judgment before we made a decision to advise the government on the way forward. And we can't wait because this is a matter of critical importance and it's now an urgent one based on some of the orders the judge made. We can't wait. If we have
so hold, folks. So guess what? This man now, the guy's afraid now. You heard what he's saying? It's an urgent matter now because of some of the stuff that are in these orders. Millions of dollars for local Vincentians who lost everything. This is a massive case. This case will go down in history. It will go down in history again, remember this, because the people stood up. One thing with St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they have strong unions. The people stood up. And the people won. I am saying to you, anytime the people stands together on any matter, they will win. Whether it's elections, whether it's on gas prices, whether it's on the hospital, on the roads, once the people stand together, there will be movement. The Vincentian people demonstrated that against a big government, a government that they worked for. And many of them voted for that government. Yes, majority of them in the public sector voted for the government. And the same government threw them under the bus. And guess what? They came together and they said, no, not so fast. We are going to win. And guess what? Brenton was thrown out of his job. Sergeant thrown out of his police job. King, Adriana King, as a teacher, got thrown out, got arrested 3 times for standing and speaking up. She was relentless. She was in Ralph's face. She was in the police commissioner's face. She was just out there in their faces all the time. The people stood with her and they won. So St. Lucian, what is it going to be? Let's go back to Mr. Estefan.
On Monday, we have an obligation to advise the government to move and to move as quickly as possible.
Do you have any timelines?
Well, we were hoping to file today, but that's not possible. So we're aiming for no later on Friday.
Okay. And after you file the appeal, what timeline are you dealing with in terms of expecting to have this appeal come forward?
Well, that's a good question. As quickly as possible. One of the other things we will have to apply for, and we are applying for, is a stay of execution. Based on the orders the judge made that they will never cease to be public officers, they're entitled to their pay, etc., etc., etc. We're going to have to apply for a stay of...
Hold. Folks, are you all listening? People, this is as serious as a heart attack tonight. You heard what he said? He wants a stay on the public servant's salary and their benefits. The judge ordered that they be paid, but he is saying that it's so urgent in stopping them from getting their monies that he's going to file on Friday that there will be an execution of stay on the court order, which means that the judge will put those orders on hold, so the government would not have to start the process of paying the human beings. They're not animals. Pay the human beings that lost almost everything for the past few years. Brethren, this is a lawyer that should not be encouraged to come into St. Lucia to do any type of work. He don't care about anybody. Because he's bold. The man is saying, basically, they shouldn't get their salaries, they shouldn't get their money, it should be on hold. Some of these teachers have to be selling ice lollies and dasheen to make it by. Some of them had major loans because Vincentians, when they are building their homes, I'm telling you, it is big houses. They don't build wooden house in St. Vincent. It is concrete structure. It is big structure these people put up. If you go to St. Vincent, you will not see much plywood homes there. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. But when they go to build, they go out. They really go out, especially these public servants. They have big houses there. They invest, they take loans to buy their cars and their homes and to send their children to school, to university and college. But here is a lawyer saying, not so fast, we don't want them to get their monies. That's what he's saying. We don't want them to get their monies. Go back again.
Of the order to maintain the status quo pending the delivery of the judgment by the Court of Appeal.
Why is the government so fundamentally opposed to this judgment?
Because it's wrong. And the context is also important. The context, but this was not a civil commotion case or a riot case or imprisoning people without reasonable cause. This is a case when there was a COVID crisis that killed people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that hospitalized others, that disrupted social life and so on. The government was constitutionally required under the Constitution to take measures in the public interest and in the interest of public health, to take measures to curb the spread of the infection and or to prevent serious illnesses and deaths being caused by, in particular.
So wait, first of all, Mr. Estefan, sir, you got to do both. You got to protect lives and livelihoods at the same time. You guys did not protect livelihoods. How can you protect lives and people are hungry? People are thirsty. People can't pay their bills during coronavirus. How can you protect lives and livelihood is not protected and guarded? I'm trying to figure this out. This is confusion for me. For some reason, it brought me back to St. Lucia, where there was a big hurrah with the Labour Party, because Mr. Shastri says that we have to protect both lives and livelihood. And he made a statement to the effect that how can we just protect lives and not livelihood? He said, what sense does it make to protect the life and then there's no livelihood? And he was right. He was proven to be right. You got to do both. Yes, you protect lives, but what are the lives going to eat? How is the lives going to pay all these expensive light and water bills in their country? So you got to do both. St. Vincent only did one. Valve Gonsalve left St. Vincent open while firing thousands of Vincentian workers. Firing them. What livelihood are you protecting, sir? What life are you protecting by inflicting harm? For some people in the world, it's best they're dead than to be alive and they can't eat, they can't get medical, some people believe that life is worthless. Can you not balance it? Could you have not consulted with the government workers? Say to them, look, some of you might have to continue to use your masks. Some of you, we'll have to put alternative measures in place so that you can continue working. Or we'll have to transfer you into different sectors where you do not have one-on-one contact with people in order to protect. But what we will do is that we will protect your livelihoods also. You will not lose your pension. You will not lose your benefits. We could not have done that instead of reaching to this point where you as a government went to court and you lost the case, and now you're saying you don't want them to get monies. The same lives that you said you wanted to protect is the very same lives that you wanted to protect. But you're taking away their livelihood from them. Bunch of jokers.
Having taken what the government, based largely on medical advice given by the chief medical officers and supported by PAHO and others, to find out that every single thing the government did in seeking to protect the lives of the very public officers and others who sued the government, to find that everything that they did based on medical advice was wrong, is a conclusion that...
And sir, let me just add while he's speaking there are many persons who were forced to take the vaccine and they're dead today. There are many persons who were forced to take the vaccine and they're dying today. There are many persons who were forced to take that jab, and you know what they're saying to them? Oops, you're going to have all kind of problems now. Your lungs, your kidneys, your memory, blood clots, cancer. Oh, you're going to die. You're not going to make it. So, oops, we're sorry. We didn't see that coming. So they said first, nothing will happen to you. You won't get it. Just change their tune. No, you will get it, but it won't be bad. Then they change their tune. Oops, you need another shot. Oops, you need another one. Oops, you need another one. What kind of advice is that, sir? When we are burying young people, people are just collapsing. There's a crisis in the land. Persons who never had any trace of any sickness, dying from cancer overnight. Cancer is just rapidly wiping them out, including my brother-in-law. And you are telling me, sir, I almost said you get off my life, but let's continue.
There has to be some clarity from a higher court as to whether what the government did was constitutionally proper or not.
And let's say you go to the appeal court as you're planning on doing, which you will do, and you're to lose at the appeal court. Then what?
Well, we'll have to see what the Court of Appeal says. The government has the same right of appeal on final decisions as every citizen like yourself would have. If you feel aggrieved by a decision, regardless of the consequences, you have to make a decision whether you accept it, negotiate it, or you fight it again until the Privy Council. But we're not at that stage yet. We just want to get to the Court of Appeal and let the Court of Appeal make a decision, and based on that decision, the Attorney General, the Solicitor General, Prime Minister, and the Cabinet will have to cross whatever bridge is delivered by the Court of Appeal.
How do you feel moving forward from this stage to the Court of Appeal? Are you confident that you will get victory in the Court of Appeal?
We are confident from day one. We are confident, and we are still confident.
You know what he said? He said they were confident from day one, but they lost the case, and he's still confident that he's going to win the other case. Just like I heard today, a certain prime minister said that he's not apologizing, but he's apologizing. So I don't know what it is. But let's move on. Let's move on, friends, from that situation there. All right? Let's move on. We're getting back to St. Lucia shortly. These are civil servants on the road. Sorry, bear with me. We got to reload. And this, I believe, is from Kenson Chance, Eyewitness News, SVG. Kingstown, St. Vincent. These are public servants. These are teachers, nurses, government workers.
Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
You seem very deep in thought.
Yes, because I'm disappointed with my fellow Vincentians today. At this moment, I thought that more teachers would have been here supporting, because I myself, I am a teacher who took the vaccine, but I see everything that was done in terms of the vaccine mandate, as we call it, being unfair. So I'm here today with my colleagues, and I wish others were here supporting.
What would you say to people who would say, don't focus on who are not here at the expense of who are here?
I agree. We should at least be here, and there is power in the numbers there, right? So I could look at it in a positive way and say at least there is a turnout. And when you look at it again too, before the court case, the numbers wasn't as great as I thought, and was still triumphant. So you know what? We shall focus on the positive and be happy that we are here, whoever it is.
What have things been like for you since December 2021?
Well, for me, when I think about it, I have been feeling a lot of, as I said, disappointment, one. Secondly, I've been reflecting a lot about the fact that I don't think as Vincentians we support each other when we're going through turmoil as much as we ought to. That's how I feel. And it is something that I've been reflecting on throughout this whole ordeal. I'll call it an ordeal. So one thing that has been stirring in me is disappointment. And my hope, like the hope in, and I should say hope in humanity or hope in Vincentians has dwindled a bit.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been an educator?
An educator? Well, I've been an educator for about 7 years, but I've been working with the government for 40 years. So before I became an educator, I was working with the Ministry of Transport and Works, and then I decided, you know what, I love the idea of teaching, so I went to further my studies with that, and I realized that it's just what I am. I'm a teacher. That's what I'm meant to be. So I've been enjoying it so far, as in talking with my students, teaching them, learning from them. It's awesome.
Do you mind if I ask you if you took the COVID-19 vaccine at all?
Yes, I did.
You did?
I took it for my own personal reasons. And at the end of the day, I believe that everybody should have the freedom to decide what they wanted to do, whether they take it or not take it.
So you still have your job as an educator?
Yes, I do.
And why did you decide to come on the picket line?
I decided to come on the picket line because I believe from the very start that making it a mandate or making it compulsory that you should take the vaccine was wrong. I believe that person should be able to exercise their freedom of right, their freedom of choice. It's a basic right. So that is why I'm here. Because once I believe in something, I do not just like to talk and say I believe in it. I like to show that I believe in it.
So that is a nurse, friends. That's a nurse who took the vaccine but came to be with her other people.
We call them out because the court has ruled. And when we examine the ruling, it is unlikely that the simple aspect of the ruling, that is the overreach of the minister in dealing with the Public Service Commission, those are not going to be overturned. And the ruling basically says that the workers never sit to be public officers. And the government should just comply and take the people back at their workplace, pay them all the benefits. Even if, based on their...
Now, the problem is that the government do not want... Let's go back.
Okay, so this is Mr. Shefflin Ballantyne. He was one of the original claimants in the case. Mr. Ballantyne, how do you feel about the ruling of the
government to court?
I feel happy. I feel pleased. Tyranny was shut down by the courts and liberty of conscience was upheld. So I feel happy for that.
Was it a difficult decision for you to decide to become a claimant in this matter and one of the original claimants?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Because I understood what was at stake here. People's freedom, people's liberty to actually follow what God put on their consciences concerning what they should take into their bodies. And what I saw was that the Prime Minister was seeking to be God to people by dictating to people's consciences. So it wasn't a difficult decision for me to say yes, I'll be one of the claimants. You said original, but to be more accurate, I was chosen or appointed as a representative in the second claim, which was the consolidated claim.
And now the government has indicated that it plans to appeal the judgment. How do you feel about it?
Well, the government is vindictive and wicked. They will lose. I'm confident that they will lose that appeal because they still have a hurdle to mount, which has to do with convincing the Court of Appeal that a worker who is present on the job fulfilling his duty is actually absent. So they still have to pass that hurdle. But I'm convinced that they have absolutely no grounds. They have not even seen the reasoning of the judges yet. They have absolutely no grounds. These things that they are talking about in general terms, or it's within the public's interest, or we like to know what to do when there's a pandemic again. All they have to do is simply look at what the other Caribbean countries did. They didn't do as wicked as this government did. And people are living with the reality of COVID. People are employed in these other Caribbean countries. They didn't fire their employees. So I'm confident that they will lose again at the Court of Appeal. And I pray and hope and I continue to pray that the Court of Appeal will not give them a stay on this decision.
Okay, I see you standing here with your wife, who's also an educator, and she was also dismissed from your job. Ms. Ballantyne, do you mind if I ask you what the last year and a half has been like for you and your family?
Well, it has been one where we continued to champion the cause for religious liberty. We know that the decision that we took was right. It was right in the eyes of God. And recently we were vindicated in the eyes of the court right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who ruled what was done to be unconstitutional and unlawful, and all the other terms that well describe what this wicked government did to these people.
On Friday at the press conference, one of the counsel for the union made the point that members of the Tuzia faith, of which you're a member, they were granted exemption by the government on religious grounds, but were also told that there were no vacancies.
Correct.
And she also made the point that she thought that, well, that's this counsel Zita Barnwell, that among the first who have been, that among the first who should have been rehired, well, you died. But I think maybe the government might respond by saying that you had to reapply. Did you reapply for your position?
No, I didn't reapply because remember, I did not abandon my duty. I did not resign. So what am I reapplying for? And that's why the court agreed with what we did. The court said, you are employed. So if I'm employed, why should I why should I reapply? So I did the right thing by God's grace, and the court vindicated us.
And you're among those public sector workers who reported for duty after the case ruled?
Yes, I reported for duty up to this morning, you know.
Up to this morning?
Yeah, up to this morning.
And what were you told?
Well, the principal of the school told me, well, he really don't know what to do.
Is that the St. Vincent Grammar
Yes,
School?
it's St. Vincent Grammar School. He said he really doesn't know what to do. He can't tell me to go back to the PS at the Ministry of Education because I've gone there before. He really doesn't know what to do. I asked him, so is there space for me? He said, oh, I wish I could answer, but I really don't know what to do. And maybe you could sit in the general office. I sat there for a while and then I left and went somewhere else to make myself more productive. So yes, I reported to school.
Do you feel any empathy for the principal?
Empathy for the principal. What I can say is that unlike what I have heard about other principals, you know, being really heartless and cold towards teachers, you know, that they have worked with over the years, you know, they have teamed up with in doing so many things. I did not get that response from him. It was where he was polite, courteous, you know, he entertained me in his office and so forth. He spoke to me and so forth. And he said he did not agree with what was done. He did say that.
Are you sure he wants you to say that publicly?
Well, I don't know if he wants me to say that publicly. He's a professed Christian and he should be able to if he doesn't want to say it, he shouldn't have a problem with somebody else saying it.
All right, thank you very much. So this is Mr. and Mrs. Ballantyne. Thank you for speaking to me. And here we have Mr. Otto Sam, who is a former president of the Teachers Union, correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Otto Sam, you are vindicated.
Folks, we're here with Kenston Chance from Eyewitness News in St. Vincent, and they're speaking to teachers and workers about the fact Mr. Ballantyne and his wife, I know them very well. They're Christians, Adventist Christians there in St. Vincent. As a matter of fact, let me just give a disclosure. Majority of the people in the strike today are Christians. They're Seventh-day Adventists who, most of them are Christians who are standing up towards the government, who are speaking up. And Miss Ballantyne, they're very stunned Christians, and they are the point. They are vegetarians. They are strict Christians, and so I am happy to see them speaking up. Now, if it was in St. Lucia, you would have people telling you, "Oh, you are Christian, you're an Adventist. Why are you speaking about politics? Why are you involved in these things?" And I am saying to you, friends, St. Lucians, you guys are a little behind. You are a little behind, and you are holding yourself back from some of these constitutional privileges and rights that were afforded to you by the Constitution of St. Lucia. And the sooner you realize that powers are being taken away from you, you're being bamboozled by government systems, then the sooner you realize it, the sooner you will wake up and smell the coffee. But just over there in St. Vincent, these Christians, they are coming, they're singing their gospels, they're standing up against the government, and they are saying no. They're taking them to court. They're Christians. But in St. Lucia, oh, you guys are so self-righteous that you will allow the government to cut your nose off and spoil your face, and you will stick to your gun. Bunch of hypocrites. Let's go back to St. Vincent.
The Vincentian people need to stand up, because if you don't, we could be in real trouble down the road. And the fact that government again is disrespecting the court, paying no heed to the court, is a reason why one should be here. So it's important to know.
The government is saying that it's going to appeal the decision, and your decision, if I remember correctly, was upheld on appeal.
Yes.
So how, I mean, you in your case, you lost at the Court of First Instance, the High Court, and the Court of Appeal vindicated you, as it were. How do you respond to the view of the government that in the same way you appealed, we have a right to appeal too?
No, the thing is that in my matter, we won at the Supreme Court and we won at the appeal.
Oh.
And in this case, basic procedural law, basic natural justice, and the government knows that will not win on an appeal. In fact, the appeal court in my second, the judges asked them, how would you go past these basic procedural hurdles if the PS of education, of national security is acting outside of the constitution and writing a letter of discipline, which he should not have written, belonging to the PS of education. How can you go past it? And it's clear that in this case again, in this matter, that the state will not prevail. So it's, for me, it's continued punishment, it's torture, it's inhumane, it's uncaring, it's wicked.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Mr. Otto Sama, former president of the Teachers Union. He also had a matter that the union took to court, and he won at the court, and he's explaining why it's important for him to be here today. And once again, if you're just joining me, my name is Kenton Chance of Eyewitness News. I'm coming to you live from Kingston, St. Vincent, just outside the finance complex here in Kingston. That is where the office of the Prime Minister is located. And the workers are protesting the decision of the government to appeal the ruling in what we call a vaccine mandate case, where the court ruled that the government's action enforcing or mandating workers to be vaccinated against COVID-19 was unconstitutional, disproportionate, ultra-virus, among other things. And the court also held that the workers never cease to be employed and that they are entitled to all of their salaries and benefits. May I ask, why do you think that the appeal should not take place?
It's a waste of the government, of the country's resources to appeal the decision by the court. The government was clearly in the wrong. The judgment made that clear from Esco Henry, and the government is wasting people's resources, critical resources that we need in other aspects of intention life to make some incident is better to appeal a decision that is sound. We need to stop the appeal, stop the nonsense and make people whole. They dispossess a lot of people and put a lot of people at risk of losing their homes and their livelihoods. Make things right, Mr. Gonsalves. Stop the appeal.
Do you mind if I ask you if you're a public sector worker?
Yes, I am employed at the Customs and Excise Department.
Were you in any way affected personally by the mandate?
Yes, well, I had obligations to meet, right, that I took on while I was employed at Customs, and I couldn't meet some of those obligations based off being wrongfully dismissed, unlawfully dismissed.
And how long did you work at the Customs?
10 years.
And what has it been like over the last year and a half or thereabouts?
It's been rough, but God is good. God is good. We're here still. God is good.
Do you mind if I ask you your name?
Sawandi Ralph.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. Do you mind if I ask you why you decided to join this activity today?
Well, as you know, I'm a retired teacher. I'm still in the union.
Okay, folks, I know that you're getting a little tired, but it's a lot for us to go through. But I just wanted you to see, my friends, what is going on in St. Vincent. But let's go quickly over one of the the NDP, which is a UWP representative. He's speaking now, so let's go over to him. Let's go over to him to hear Mr. Leacock. Let's go over.
But the two active trade unions, or the two most active trade unions in St. Vincent and Grenadines, the Public Service Union and the Teachers Union, have had the painful responsibility to take the government to court. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but too many times. And you know what? On each occasion, they have obtained victory in the court, either for the government's breach of administrative practice, industrial relations practice, good governance, and in this particular case, constitutional breaches, administrative breaches.
And by the way, folks, let me just give you a heads up. He is the one who told Mr. Ralph Gonsalves to sit down and shut up. He's the one who told him to shut his mouth. In the house, those of you who remember I played that, he's the one who had the fight with Ralph in the House. He's a very aggressive government minister, very strong indeed, and he's a thorn in Ralph's skin every sitting.
And it is for people who just a few months ago were the happiest heroes here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in different challenging circumstances. COVID and the volcanic eruption. These are people who, even with a job, find it difficult to make ends meet. We know what the poverty report says. They cannot pay all of the utilities at the same time, light, phone, water. There are people who are unable to make ends meet, who have had to take up jobs and opportunities and other initiatives, burn coals, drive taxis, make pepper sauce, have barbecue.
Not that there's anything wrong with any of these things.
Not that anything's wrong with them, but they have had to do that in this case to compensate for the loss of salary.
Okay, MP Lickout, during the height of the pandemic, you're one of those persons who did advocate very strongly for people to take the vaccine. What, if any, difference is there between what you suggested and what the government did?
I never fired anybody. I never made it a mandate. I didn't even attend the session of Parliament. But you, Kenton, provide me with an opportunity, and that's how big men behave, and I'm a big man. Much of the views that I expressed in the heat of the pandemic, now on hindsight, were wrong. And I publicly apologize for being wrong on those issues, because I acted then on what I consider to be the science of the moment. Time has demonstrated that I maybe have been too quick to the draw, and if that is the abundance of evidence, then St. Vincent, workers, major, is sorry. But that's a totally separate matter, and this issue on hand, Kenton, the legal discussion and debate here now is a completely separate discussion to the medical and scientific debate on COVID.
But I'm not sure that's the case, sir, because...
I'm not going to be brought into a debate with you.
Before, I'm not debating you. Your leader has also said, the Honorable Godwin Friday, has also said that it would also be magnanimous, in addition to the government reinstating the workers, that they apologize, because listening to the workers, a lot of them, getting their jobs back and getting the money would not undo all of the hurt that they say that they're experiencing. And they're also asking for the government to apologize. And do you think, to the extent that some workers are asking for that, that the government should also
I take it that you heard me apologize.
Yes, I did.
And I take it that you understand I could only speak for my actions.
And do you think...
And I can't take responsibility for others.
I'm asking you as a national leader.
I can say what I would have done had I been in a position of leadership in the government. I would have apologized.
Okay, so moving beyond that, the government has taken the decision that it would appeal.
Now, I know many of you are tired. We will play the rest.
And the workers...
I know many of you are tired. We'll play the rest at a different time. But very interesting developments there in St. Vincent. I'm not going to hold you back. Now, in this same clip, we have a number of government officials, not government officials, but opposition leaders who are coming out and they're speaking. Let's hear just 1 minute. Bear with me, folks. 1 minute of our opposition leader there in St. Vincent, Mr. Dr. Friday.
From the very beginning, you will recall when this matter was introduced to the Parliament, we were there opposing the legislation, bringing it to the streets so the people to know what was going on. The government then used that to impose this, the draconian vaccine mandate, which has affected and so many people have damaged so many people's their financial circumstances, their mental health, their living standards.
So I just wanted you to hear a little from the opposition leader there in St. Vincent. Very strong opposition there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it says a lot, friends. It says a lot. And you folks, as I said earlier, on the island, and let's have one more. Let's have just one more from Smith, who was with us last night. He's on the line, on the picket line.
And you're among the initial claimants
Yes, I am.
How do you feel about the ruling of the court?
Marvelous. Excellent. It's a humble feeling. Justice for all.
Have you reported for duty since the ruling of the court?
Yes, I did. I reported to the Georgetown police station.
And what were you told?
I was told that the commissioner indicated that the government has appealed the matter and that they will call us. They took our phone numbers and said they will call us.
All right, so there you have Sergeant Smith, who was with us last night on Caribbean American News Network. I believe we will not go any further here. We will try to get Adriana King on the program sometime on Monday so that we can get an update as to what is happening. But these workers, it is a great day for them. Public servants there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, most of them will receive large payout for the past few years that they have lost their living, and the government of St. Vincent will have to find the money. They will have to find the millions of dollars to compensate for these families that are were displaced by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And what I would say to the government of St. Lucia, watch this space. We are going to bring to light some of these situations around the Caribbean so that the people of St. Lucia can see that they too need to stand up and to keep their eyes open, because the governments are not in for your interests. You can clearly see it. Not even the lawyers that they are paying. They are advising them to throw you guys under the bus. And so anytime again the Constitution is mentioned, open your eyes, open your ears. Do not let anyone bamboozle you. Don't let anyone make you feel that you should shut your mouth and just go home because my government is in power. On that picket line in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you have folks who supported the government. You have folks who did not support the government standing there in solidarity with the Vincentian people. They are not siding with the government. And so it is time for St. Lucians to stop this halikase fighting on basic issues that they should stand together on. You will get nothing done in that country. Absolutely nothing. Everything would remain the same. And therefore, I am saying to you, friends, that St. Vincent and the Grenadines will have a new government in power at the appropriate time. Mark this space. Once civil servants and unions are rising up against the government, then you know all fall down. That is it. So, folks, you have a beautiful night. Thank you for being here with me. I have a lot more that I wanted to share with you, but time is against us. You know, it is what it is. I hope that you guys have a beautiful night. We will continue this program. We'll see whether we can have a Sunday program or what, so that we can continue where we left off. But there's a lot. I'm going to see if I can get Adriana King, and all the others to come back on with us so we can have a link up either on Sunday night or on Monday. But we will have another link up with them, and we're going to keep this space open. There's a lot of developments in St. Lucia. The government has declared Vieux Fort today as a major problem there, and so the police are already empowered together with the regional security forces to take whatever action needed in Vieux Fort, St. Lucia. Watch this space, folks. There will be a lot of persons crying foul. There'll be a lot of lawsuits, a lot of concerned citizens being hurt. Yes, it's going to happen. Normally it would happen, but therefore, you folks, let's hope that everything's settled there in Vieux Fort, and that Vieux Fort is restored to its old self again. You know what that means, old self. Nothing new under the sun there. No development. What can I say? Folks, have a beautiful night. And
a resident of the St. Peter area, just living in National Hall for a majority of my life, and I've really had to traverse through Spicestown for a number of years. What really is my issue? Austin said it quite clearly, a number of points he made. But one of the things is that the consultation. I believe that this traffic diversion thing, or one way, This is a suggestion that myself and Austin, we have spoken about over 15 years ago about the possibility of trying to get persons back into Speightstown. We have a lot of people who come from all over Barbados to come into Speightstown to shop and things like that. I've said it at the town hall meeting. You have a lot of dying businesses in Speightstown, especially the smaller businesses, smaller black-owned businesses in Speightstown. They're faced with high rents and stuff like that. The traffic that has come through Speightstown is now down to a minimal. If you look around here now, you will see pretty much Speightstown is like a dead town. Now, it is really ironic that this traffic diversion has come now, where we have seen a number of restaurants now coming into Speightstown, especially on the Sand Street end, which the last couple of weeks, since those restaurants have been there, we've had traffic on Persons Park on the left side going north for a number of weeks. Sometimes when you come into Speightstown, coming from the north going into Speightstown, you have to wait because a person might be coming up. There's no policing of the area, that Sand Street area where persons park to go to the restaurants. And it's quite ironic that this now traffic diversion has come where it's only one-way traffic going north. Now, I mean, we can't be foolish about this. If persons are going north and only allowed to park for 2 hours, that means then that is convenient for those restaurants. Those restaurants, well, pretty much they have their own parking lot now on the side of the street.
For 2 hours, that's the time you need to have a dinner engagement at a restaurant. You don't need any more than that. Now the question is now when it comes to the other traffic policies, Chapel Street. Austin mentioned before we have a doctor's office in Chapel Street. I have my office at the top of Chapel Street. When you look at this proposal, there's only one entrance into Speightstown. Coming from the fish market where we are here, nobody has man, going south. There's only one entrance into Speightstown because if you come down Church Street, which is going to be a one way, you have to turn right. So you don't really go into Speightstown proper. To get into Speightstown proper with this new proposal, you're going to have to come in from the Queen Street Battalies roundabout coming in, or you may have to use, which most persons might be tempted to use it, the Archers Road, which is a very narrow road. Archers Road is a two-way road, but it's a very narrow road. And persons are going to be tempted to go down and come up through that road. So when you're coming in Speightstown now, this new proposal, you're going to be coming in from the south. Now, why? You're going to bottleneck